What are some of the principles that we need in our lives whenever we need to make very, very critical decisions? Whether you are talking about advancing your career, whether you're talking about relocating into another country, if you're talking about marriage, relationships, anything and everything that surrounds us and details our lives, we need to make very, very critical decisions. In the first video, we talked about wisdom. Wisdom is one of the things that we need in our lives if we are making critical decisions. Another thing that we need is wise counsel. Wise counsel from people who have experience, from people who have knowledge in a particular area, from people who have seen, a couple of things here and there, and they can easily identify gray areas. And today we'll be talking about the very last bit of it, which is part 3. And to seal all these things together is definitely prayer. Now, again, if you check these videos, as you are reading out these scriptures, where James is saying that if we lack wisdom, we should ask, and our Heavenly Father will give it unto us. When he's talking about asking, he's saying that asking is done through prayer, and prayer is talking to God. Whether you're asking God for something, whether you're lamenting about a particular situation, prayer ideally is talking to God. And ideally also, when you look at wise counsel that comes from people, which talked about in the second video, you need to ask God to guide you, and to show you prayerfully who exactly do you need to approach in order for them to give you wise counsel. In Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, Matthew the writer says, ask and keep on asking, and it will be given to you. Seek and keep on seeking, and you will find. Knock and keep on knocking, and the door will be open to you. Ideally, what he's trying to tell us here is that asking and prayer is a progressive thing. And I think the reason as to why very many Christians, and even non-Christians, who would ideally ask God for something at some point where they get discouraged, is because that zeal to continue asking, that zeal to be progressive, to be consistent in prayer, at some point dwindles. And that's why you'll find many times you find people would say, God doesn't love me, or God doesn't listen to me, or God doesn't do this. But do we really ask with the right motive? Which again is what James talks about. Do we ask with the right motive? Are we asking God because we want him to suit into our plan, or to suit into our detail, or to suit into what we desire? Or are we open to what God has in store for us? In Psalms chapter 25, verse 3 there into 4, we see David having a very amazing posture. Whenever he's talking to God, he says that, show me your ways. And then he goes ahead to say, teach me your path. Then later on he says, lead me in your truth and in your path. This is somebody who is committed, who is saying at the end of the day, not my will, but your will be done. And this is what we are saying today. Are you open enough to accept and to tell God and to let God know that in as much as this is what I desire, I also desire your perfect plan for me. I also desire your perfect will for me. So I pray that as you make critical decisions in your life, you will find time to pray. You'll have the zeal, the momentum, the stamina to continue praying and asking God and seeking God in prayer. That even if he doesn't do it within the time frame you're trusting God to do it, at the end of the day, it's upon us to remember that 1 year is like 1,000 years to him, and 1,000 years is like 1 day to him. And the most amazing thing about it is that his plans for us are definitely not to lead us into harm, but to give us success in whatever way that he wants it to go. So thank you so much for watching. I also want to love to acknowledge the management of Cheche Restaurant. We are recording at Cheche Restaurant, so I just want to say thank you so much to the management, and thank you to every one of you who has been watching these videos on CITAM Church Online. Continue to engage with us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, make sure you also share this video with somebody so they too will also be encouraged. God bless you.